Jack,
We on.
What's going on, guys?
much. How you been?
Nothing much, nothing much.
Why does everyone want to ask me that? I've been great.
Okay.
Actually, it's been a interesting summer for me. I am on a full detox.
Oh wow.
So no smoking, no drinking, only
Look great.
clean food, only water. Yeah. So that's been interesting. It's it's nice when you get to just get rid of everything and then you start fresh all over again. So, yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. Oh my God. There were a couple of days, oh, I wanted a cigarette, but yeah, no, you readjust. I had to remind myself that every time I've been forced to go to jail for something I didn't do, um, I never was, one of the people in jail like, oh my God, I wish I had a cigarette or running around rolling up fake paper pretending that I had to say. I was never one of those people. I just, if I can't have it, I can't have it. So I try to remind myself, you can't have it because you don't need it.
Right. What? I'm curious. What made you just go on a detox?
I'm at war.
Oh, right.
I'm at
That's real.
war. And, I'm just looking at the state of things. I'm looking at the state of the world, and I need to be at my top performance. I turned 48 this year, and it's been interesting. A lot of introspection. Like when you get the closer you get to 50, you got a lot of life to look back at. So there's some things that seem like forever ago, and there's some things that seem like yesterday. But you really get like acutely aware of where you want to go and what you want to do with the rest of the time that you have left. I mean, judging by normal standards, I'm at the halfway part, So what do I do with the last half? What
Right.
do those next 2 quarters look like for me?
Yeah, Jack, do you think about your mortality more often? Like just in general now? Like life in general, like we're
I
at that
don't,
halfway point.
I can't say that I think about mortality more. I think about what I'm doing with my mortality more. Like I know that every day counts. Every day counts. Because the truth is a lot of people that I know that were around my age aren't here with me.
Right.
And 30 years from now, I plan on still being here. Um, and there's going to be a lot more people that started out with me that ain't going to be here. And so I think to myself, what do I want that to look like? I have a wonderful partner in my life, and we think about those things because it's pretty much just at the point where you know what you want the rest of your life to look like. And if you're lucky enough, you have the things around and the people around it that facilitate that for you. So it's just really all about quality of life and purpose.
Right.
Like it's really all purpose right now. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think about dying. I never have. People have been trying to kill me for so long. Thinking about dying is kind of silly. Um, but yeah, I I do think about, you know, all of the energy I've put out and how I want to use it now. So yeah, I guess I don't know if it's thinking about mortality or the purpose of your mortality, but I would say it's leaning more towards thinking of the purpose of my life than how
All
much I
right.
have left. Yeah.
All right, Jack. Well, I say, well, let's just dive right in. We have these conversations in which you've created something, especially within the world of real life productions, real life street stars.
Ain't not old, ain't not
I'm telling you, to where people wanted to see a lot of this stuff through, and we wanted to let the dust settle a little bit before we actually tap in with you and speak about the last 3 to 4 months.
I don't think
Um,
we've let it settle enough.
right, right. It's still particles in the air, boy. I tell you.
Oh no, no,
Um,
no, not particles. There is whole sandstorms happening. There's whole dust storms happening. There's a lot of stuff going on. And it's funny because I hate being right, but
no,
as usual, I'm right.
you have inside knowledge. Um,
Well, I want to put it this way. Let's start right here because I already know like there's probably 80 million questions. And the truth is I haven't been very talkative. There really hasn't been much for me to say. I've just been watching to see exactly how right I was going to be. And more importantly, who was going to play into exactly what I thought they were going to play into. And I wish I could have been more surprised. But from the second that I did Pierce Morgan right after Diddy got arrested, I said some things. And ain't it everything happened just like I said.
it's interesting.
But
And
I said
yes,
some things last year on the couch. And I think a lot of people keep forgetting about what I say. I think people are so busy trying to disprove the reality of the things that I say and me that they tend to miss the things that I've actually said. I said, where do you go when the industry screws you over? Where do you go? Who do you go to? Y'all ask, why don't people come forward? Why won't people? I'm like, who do you go to? You
yeah,
can't go to the boss because the boss is screwing you. And the
yeah,
boss's boss don't care.
yeah.
You could go to the authorities, but they're all bought and paid for. And even if you get lucky enough to find a special prosecutor, somebody can just come along and have that person reassigned. Who do you go to? That's what I said, didn't I? Right on this couch.
That is. So, and we're gonna touch on all that because
I
this is
mean,
gonna
we
be a
can touch
slow.
on it real quick and just
Yeah,
get past it. Because there's so many things I'm sure we need to discuss. Let's just have a little Q&A.
let's go.
Was Cassie only Diddy's girlfriend or did she start off as an employee?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
She started off as an employee.
It's the way
She was
her.
supposed to have been going over to Columbia Records with Ryan Leslie. And then somehow that whole thing turned into her getting signed to Diddy on a 10 album deal. If anybody bothers to remember, she made it very clear he had been at her since she was like 18, 19 years old. It didn't become so called official until her 21st birthday, and she was already signed.
Mm.
Matter of fact, if I'm correct, I believe that's the night that Britney Spears was there at that party as well. And they said that she was seen left with Diddy, you know, half out of her gorg. And Diddy was joking about what he had done with her.
Yeah.
But I guess, we want to skip over all of that. So she started out as an employee. Um, all of the beatings, because there were more than the beatings that we saw on that tape. Which, by the way, I also sat here on this couch and said he was beating that girl, he was raping that girl, he put the boots to that girl, and dared her to say anything. And you said, why would he do that? Because I said, because he thinks he's God.
Mm.
Now, we all saw that tape come out on my birthday, May 17th,
Mm.
2024. And even though that was the first time I had seen that tape, it sounds like I described exactly what he was doing to that girl on that tape without me seeing it. How could that be possible? How could I be that right? How could I guess that good?
How did you know, Jack?
Once again, everyone knew. Everyone knew. Just like the witness who came forward, who was too afraid when the grand jury came forth and they wanted her to testify. And she decided she was going to fall back, hoping that the government had enough from all of the raids because they should have been able to make the case stick with everything that we know that they found during those raids. They had more than enough evidence. Funny how none of it made it to court. Just a bunch of weirdo tapes of Cassie and that Jane girl and 50 Cent's very um unfortunate baby mama. It's funny because I think I also remember talking about Daphne
Mm.
with y'all before, and I expressed that maybe the reason why Curtis had a problem was because he didn't realize she was a Diddy doo-wop bop before him,
Yep, you said that.
and maybe she might have brought some things to him that he didn't like. I'm sorry. How many different testimonies did we hear of all of the different VD that was passed between Diddy and his so-called parties that only happened with him and his little weirdo girlfriends or whatever? How many? I mean, Cassie's literally being sued by a sex worker right now for transmission of these things.
What are your thoughts on Clayton Howard?
I think he's a nigga. And I think somebody paid him to do everything that he's doing right now. Because I'm going to tell you something. And let's just be very clear. They keep trying to paint all of this weirdo stuff without literally putting the sodomite title on the diddler. But no straight man allows that much beefcake all up in his face and wants stuff rubbed all over him. And that's just, it's not possible. It's not real. And male sex workers, I mean, I would know. I dated a few when I was younger, when I was in the life. I used to think that, me and my girlfriends, we all dated male exotic dancers at one time, sponsoring bachelor parties, dominatrix works, phone sex lines, yada, yada, yada. You tend to sometimes date in your field. And for a while there, you feel a little special. He doesn't, everything he does with everyone else, it's for money, but he's just with you. He's with you, right? And there's no money exchange, so that makes us special. Not at all.
Ho-
Not at
ho-
all.
Hold on, Jack.
But
Doesn't it make
we,
sense though?
no, it
Ho-
really doesn't make sense, especially when you see your so-called straight boyfriend now doing gay parties and saying that's only for money,
Wow.
and letting men go down on him for extra, but it's only for money.
Allegedly,
Okay.
his attorney told the world basically like, yes, Diddy is a swinger. He can't just go out into a swinging party. He may have to hire people to come into his world to do those swingish things.
A swingers party with as many different people as he had at those parties. And understand this, these sessions that he's talking about swinging, there were multiple men. It wasn't just one-on-one action. And I don't know why they're all lying about it. Like they're all lying through their caps. And anybody who doesn't want to see that, well, then that's just on them. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If he really wanted to sue Cassie because he was upset about a baby deletion and all the diseases that she gave him and all of the terrible things that she did to him, why did he have to wait for her to sue Diddy?
Well, I think he waited for the testimony. Cassie
No,
opened that door.
no, no, no. If he was so, he said he had always intended to go after her. He had planned on coming after her, and it was Tyrone Blackburn that stopped him.
I mean, $30 million changes a lot.
$30 million changes a lot. Come on now. You got VD and all of that, but you had to wait for her to get some money in order for you to want to come forward. That doesn't make any sense, especially when you're a money grubbing little hoe like him. And he is a money grubbing little hoe. He's enjoying his press tour, talking about how he might not be the best looking, but he was the best in bed. How would she know, as high as she was?
He said
Really?
they had an 8-year run, like 8 years.
Yeah. And in those 8 years, he didn't mind getting burned and coming back. Like, let's think about that. 8 years. So the VD didn't happen until at the end of the 8 years? No, I truly doubt that.
Maybe he had feelings for her.
Feelings? Feelings. I mean, erections definitely, but feelings? I think
Yeah.
people are getting real, just like numb in the brain to what all of this is that's going on. You know, just like all of the baby oil celebration, when I guess people are forgetting that it was initially reported by the feds that it was a carrier agent for a pharmaceutical. It wasn't just baby oil. There was pharmaceuticals being carried in the baby oil.
Yeah, they kind of just skipped
G
it.
the G book. Yeah. Yeah, they keep I'm still not understanding that. So the feds lied. There was no pharmaceuticals in the baby oil because that's what was in the baby oil. And then everybody wants to sit there and have a baby oil jokes and oh the woo 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 and the wow 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 and oh it's just the oil, it's just the oil. No, it was covered, it was filled with pharmaceuticals, the kind of stuff that puts people out upon too much application. So if people are running around sitting there talking about more oil, what they're saying is sedate that person more, sedate that person more. But I guess we forgot about all of that because it just sounds cuter, right? Because they were running around having KY parties. Like, come on.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Come
astral world.
on. Are we serious about that?
Yeah,
Now all of a sudden, Cassie is the gangster of corn. She was paying for it. She was ordering it. She was doing this. Really, with what money? With whose
Right.
money?
How did you feel about the Punisher testimony?
I feel sorry for him that he decided to play the role of idiot and run around talking about erectile dysfunction and breaking down and not being able to perform. I feel sorry for him. You know who I feel more sorry for though? Pierce Morgan and Vladimir Lyuski. Vladimir, I've never been a DJ ever in my life, but it makes people feel more comfortable with talking about me when I'm lining them up for cases allegedly. That those pasty pimps.
why do you feel so sorry for them?
Because that's what y'all call journalism. Talking to a bunch of dick slinging weirdos. That's journalism. So they could sit there and call a woman a whore who was beaten repeatedly. I wish people would stop sitting there acting like that tape was the only time he put his hands on her.
Right.
There are other witnesses that gave testimony that they seen him beat her. It was put in Cassie's lawsuit that Usher was present watching Diddy. But see, I guess people they not paying attention to what's going on. See, they needed to cut everybody else out to make sure that nobody got forced to testify because, you know, Rico hurts. See, everybody's afraid of the word RICO. Don't nobody want to get caught up in it. You want to know why there was no testimony for him when it came time? Because they couldn't put anybody on the stand because they would have been forced to perjure themselves. Like,
So Jack,
have we gotten that stupid in America that we just fall for whatever lie there is? Like, the man sat there and lied and said he never did anything wrong to that girl. Meanwhile, the second that she dropped her lawsuit, he kicked out 20 million in 24 hours. Why would you do that if you did nothing wrong? Why? You were doing it out of the kindness of your heart? Well, why? Why? Just like Mr. Clayton Bigsby. Because that's what he looks like, the crackhead.
uh,
That Dave Chappelle used to play on this show, the Clayton Bigsby. He looks just like that to me.
uh,
I'm sorry, I don't care how magnificent you say your penis is. I couldn't make it past the look of your face, sir. Cassie would have needed to be high on all of the stuff in that baby oil and everything else, y'all, to just to be able to make it through you. Or maybe the diddler really chose him because he wanted to make sure there was somebody there that was uglier than him. You know, of all of the things y'all have heard me say to y'all for all of this time, have you ever heard me get into any of these nasty details that you heard pop out through the trial?
no. Uh-uh.
You ever hear me talk about the size of people's members, the nasty little? I pretty much kept it short, didn't I? I spared y'all exactly how trifling and nasty it really was, did I not?
Come on. Come on.
I mean, considering how disgusting all of this stuff is, I think I gave it a lot of grace. And yet I was still very accurate about everything that I said was happening, except for the whole idea that, oh, no, there was no other celebrities. It was no other celebrities were there. And this only happened with these couple of people. And da 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 da. And so we're supposed to believe that the feds went into multiple addresses, picked up thousands of hours of surveillance. And the only people that were on it were these couple of people.
It- it- so the question,
That's what
Jack,
we're
is
supposed to believe.
it, do you feel the feds, the prosecution, put on a good case? Did you believe they put their best foot forward, or maybe they rushed things, or maybe they didn't do their due diligence in certain areas?
I think, considering what's going on with the Epstein list right now,
Exactly.
I think they did the job they needed to do. Isn't that funny? There were no celebrities at Diddy's freak-offs, and there were no clients on Epstein Island. And all of that happened at the same time.
Like, let's not get it twisted. I mean, Diddy has partied with Trump before. Diddy has had parties at the Trump Tower, possible freak offs at the Trump Towers.
Mm.
It We have to look at behind
R.
the
Kelly
the.
lived out of the Trump Towers when he was doing what they. Isn't it funny how they was able to convict Robert Kelly of a RICO, but not the diddler? And the diddler had so much more money. I mean, Robert Kelly would have had money if he had been able to read and write and known that they was robbing him blind before they put him in jail. But on the book, isn't that funny? You want to know what else is funny? That in the middle of that trial, R. Kelly was rushed to the hospital after being overdosed. He didn't overdose himself. The medication was given to him by the people in jail. And his legal team came forward and said that the feds were trying to kill him. There was another prisoner who said that they was going to let him do the deed. All he had to do was just beat the crap out of him. And when he went to the hospital, Body was filled with blood clots. And the jail pulled him from the hospital before he could be treated.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Tory Lanez also almost lost his life while I was in New York. First day of trial after the jury had been selected. Funny, I know nobody's talking about that either.
Yeah. Do you feel that was a hit from the outside?
I'm sorry, somebody that you've been jailing with for quite some time that you was all right, and then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, he was looking at your girl or he was talking to your girl, and you got to poke him up 14 times on the first day of Diddy's trial. You want to know what else was going on during Diddy's trial that I was really focused on and nobody else was focused on?
What's that?
Deore Hadley,
Oh yes.
daughter of Desiree Perez. See, I went to the courthouse. I saw exactly what it was hitting for. I knew it was all. I knew they was the whole goddamn thing up, and I knew they had everybody wagging the dog and working media. I watched that little black girl that works for TMZ going back and forth to people like Arman Wiggins and all of the other content creators that were there. Now, a lot more got there after I left. Oh my God. I guess after I got there and I sat there with the press corps and said everything that I needed to say before we found out that they would not be using testimony from Al B. Shore and Natanya Rubin and a couple other key witnesses that probably should have been able to speak and give character witness representation of exactly how dangerous a monster this person is. But they were excluded because they did media before the trial. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? Interesting. So yeah, watching TMZ work this thing, watching all of the YouTubers work this thing, all of those, like most of the commotion that y'all saw happen there, it was all staged, it was all orchestrated. They did the same thing, they tried it with me on my first day there. When I was there and everyone saw me and I was on the news and all of that, TMZ sent that little weirdo to come try to ambush me during my interview with international press. Sure did. See, first he walked up while I was interviewing with other people, trying to insert his way in, trying to talk to me. And, he was shut down by my management and by my security. No, she's busy. She's in the middle of another. And he sat there. And then he waited to reintroduce himself when I was talking to someone else. And then I did speak to him for a second and I gave him his little couple minutes and pieced him and we good. Now, of course, he didn't appear until after I refused to talk to TMZ twice. They wanted a soundbite from me so bad, and I told them to go off. If I wanted a remix, I'd go to a real producer. Because I had no doubt that whatever I told them, they would find some way to remix. And I said that to all of their faces. Well, nobody playing with Harvey Leviathan and his merry band of liars. Isn't that interesting? It's so funny. Everybody talks about, oh, she just clout chases. Then why didn't I go and give me a moment with TMZ? They offered it to me on more than one occasion, and I told them to go off each time. So instead, they send their little black infiltrator. They got so many weirdo black crash test dummies that work for that company. I don't understand it. I really don't. And considering it was June and the Juneteenth and all of these black traders, but it's just
Hey.
it's so funny.
It-
So they do, but
it-
they sent it back.
now, TMZ, they went live on the day of the jury reading, and
Yeah.
Harvey himself, he seemed very surprised that the RICO charges did not stick.
He seemed surprised. You
He
know
said,
how surprised he looked as surprised as Beyonce did when she won that country album of the year and everybody knew they bought that shit. He looked about as genuine as she did when she won that award.
now you mentioned
Shout out to
Armand.
Atlanta PD. I hope you find the people that robbed her.
Oh, we're gonna circle back to that. Hold
No,
that
we ain't
thought.
got to circle back. That's all I got to say about it. I hope you find the people that robbed her.
Jaguar, do you have any inside knowledge of who robbed Beyonce?
No. And wouldn't care to know. I don't care.
Yeah,
Why
no,
would
they
they
got.
rob something that was more valuable so that they could get some insurance money since they're having problems getting loans these days?
No, to have some unreleased Beyonce music is, I, I mean, that's you're sitting on some gold there.
I don't know if you're sitting on gold or not. I don't know what it is. I can tell you whatever stole it from her. Good for you because she already stole it from somebody else. I mean, she steal all her records and everybody know that. So I don't know. Is it robbery or is it just a
Well,
unlucky Monday?
it tells me that Atlanta is a grimy, grimy place.
No, what it says is that people are desperate and willing to do anything to get a headline that detracts from the fact that that man, that her husband, who has been denying is his child for many years, is about to finally get that DNA result that everybody has been so desperately waiting for.
I mean, if it is
I
his child,
think they would do anything to slow that headline down. But then again, the only thing that headline slowed down was the headline that I was working on about Deore Hadley and her husband, Javon Hadley, who are
yes.
victims of Rock Nation. I did a whole 4-part series about it. We still haven't even released part 4 yet. Want to know why? They came after 2 of our channels and took them down, but it's still up on my main channel. Copyright strikes for shit that they don't even know, but they made sure Desiree Perez's name was on it. I'll be getting around to you, Miss Getz. Don't you, Laura Getz? We'll be getting around to you. You and Dr. Bober. You
Mm.
know, it's really interesting how people don't want to see and believe that these people will do anything to avoid a RICO case because a RICO case is the only thing that the federal government can't turn away from. You know, let's just say allegedly, all of these people are exactly what I've said they are all along, government informants who have turned hip hop into a new plantation where they get to break down and bust down on all kinds of young black people and be able to send them to jail or threaten to get them to do whatever they want them to. Let's just say I'm right about all of that. A RICO is the only thing that the government could not ignore. They'd have to haul all of their little favorite snitches in and set up queens in and set up kings in. And then they have to find new people.
Mm.
Isn't that interesting?
And Jag, you spoke on the Love Child, Ramir, Jay Z, the
Yeah,
paternity.
yeah.
He's come out and said, like, this is just long term harassment, man. He's like, this thing is just won't go away. Um,
Long-term harassment. You know how disrespectful that is to a man that looks almost identical to you?
yeah, that's his child. That's very disrespectful. I mean,
To a man that just chances are just out of nowhere, random universal selection. This boy who's not related to you has your nose, has your mouth, has your brow line, has your hairline, same straight knobby knees. Is like all of this just by accident. just by accident. It's just a coincidence that this man looks like he could be your Irish twin. Are you kidding me? I'll tell you what I do know. I do know that I have listened to actual commentary from his godmother, Lily, who sat with a friend of mine, Liz Crokin. I was there, I was present. I heard it come out of her mouth. Wanda was a minor when she got pregnant with Ramir. And like Wanda always said, he picked her up in Philly, but he took her to New York across state lines to bed her while she was allegedly underage. Even though Lily was present when Ramir was born. She was very clear on the fact that Wanda was a minor when she was pregnant with Ramir, who was born a year before my son Giovanni. He came 92. That means she got knocked up in 91. He was well into his 20s by that time. Well into his 20s. Allegedly taking teenage girls over state line. He got unlucky. That condom broke. Poor guy. Or maybe that was just karma. Maybe God made sure that happened for a moment like right now.
Mm.
Disgusting. Don't nobody want to talk about the other kids that everybody denies don't exist and whatever. You know, to be a billionaire that can't get a loan is one thing. But to be a broke billionaire and a deadbeat dad, that's something different.
Mm. Yeah. You know, even Solange's son, the Daniel kid, he says he doesn't have a great relationship with Beyonce, Jay Z. I don't. What do you feel? Someone coming out saying, "Hey, Jay Z is my father." What does that person want from a Hove? If he's he's saying he does not
To
care. You
prove
think
that
it?
his mother wasn't a liar, because that's what they said his entire life while she was alive.
Mm.
Denying him makes her a liar. That woman was on the phone with the judge who was harassing her, telling her, demanding that she stop filing for paternity when she gave way and died. His mama died on the phone, trying to get proper acknowledgement for him. If your mama died like that, would you just sit around and let people keep calling her a liar?
Mm.
That's how your mama died, with a judge yelling at her. And turns out now all of these judges were bought off and paid off, and they're going to be looking at sanctions and probably charges because what they did was illegal. Kind of like how illegal it was, you know, for Desiree Perez to call the police and lie and say that her son-in-law was beating on her daughter when that never happened, even though she had camera in the room, and then she had a bunch of non-speaking um witnesses that could have swore to God that they heard everything that they was hollering about from over 200 feet away while they was busy watching telenova in a living room. They didn't see nothing. They got a phone call and said that somebody was in there, and then they go in there and nothing's happening, and then the police come and nothing's happening, and they're checking the girl's body and they're looking, and there's no bruises and there's no nothing, even though Desiree Perez was on the phone with the police saying that she was being viciously attacked by her black boyfriend. Never happened. Want to know what's funny? He ended up getting arrested about 2 years later. How do you get arrested and thrown in jail for a crime that the cops came and witnessed never happened?
Mm.
Sounds like abuse of power. That sounds like a whole lot of corruption, doesn't it? We talked about that. You know, it's so
Yes.
funny because my videos are being heavily suppressed. You know, I gotta read you guys this. It's funny. It's like they really wanna corral everywhere I go and who I talk to and what I say. Oh, hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I don't have it in here. I sent myself the wrong one. No, that was a long. Oh, but then there is this. Oh, did you see this? Have you seen this?
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. Jaguar Wright almost unalived by Diddy's hitman. Noah Jacob, TV. I shouted him out once before. I guess they paid you real good. You fake Christian piece of crap. Bearing false witness. You call yourself a Christian? Bearing false witness, you stupid little kid. Because if you think I'm not going to come after your platform, and if you think I'm not going to make sure that everybody goes to your platform and report you for the lies you told with your AI evidence video that you put up.
Yeah.
Do you know what the video said? That number one, it said Diddy's hitman, but I thought Diddy and Jay-Z wasn't friends. But it says that because I interviewed Deore Hadley, right? Because I interviewed her, the hitmen came after me and they boom boomed my car and they tried to take me out. And guess what they used as evidence that all of this happened to me? All of that crap that I went through with my second ex-husband, which y'all know very well because y'all remember when that car went boom boom in Arizona right after the Super Bowl and the Grammys, right after Lizzo won, and I told her she better brace herself. Her career ain't been the same since, has it?
Mm.
Lost on Ozempic, they say. My God. Now y'all remember that car. Y'all
Mm.
remember I used to drive that car. And now Noah Jacobs is saying that that car was boom boom because I talked to Deore Hadley 2 years after it was boom boomed. The gaslighting videos of them gaslighting me at the barbershop, the gaslighting videos of them gaslighting me at the PD, all of that crap that you all done by YouTubers, Tasha K YouTubers.
And real quick, I
And,
want.
and now and now oh my God, Jaguar, she interviewed the CEO of Rock Nation's daughter, and now look at what's happened to her. There's a whole comment here that says Jag needs some serious security. I'm afraid for her life. I appreciate her. That's what we doing for clicks and views. This was only a couple of days ago. Do I look like anybody recently just tried to kill me, guys?
Mm. Come
Huh?
on. Come on.
That's the kind of suppression YouTube is doing. I actually had one of my subscribers come and leave me a long message. I guess I left that message in this phone, talking about how she never gets any notifications when I go live on my channel anymore, the Jaguar Wright effect. Matter of fact, when she goes in to look for me, she has to look extra hard, and instead she finds everybody else's channel but mine, where the Deore Hadley interview is, which is such a slow crawl for someone who goes viral so easily. Then she has to turn off her notifications and turn them back on and do all of this stuff, and then they do all of this, and then when she goes and she likes a video, it unlikes it. Do you believe that?
Mm.
She likes the video and it unlikes it.
Yeah.
YouTube unlikes it. That's how badly they don't want anybody looking at Desiree Reynoso Perez's daughter tell the very truth about what she does with her rock and employees. That's how badly they don't want nobody hearing that. So they run around to content creator after content creator, getting them to lie, to scare other YouTubers so they won't cover this story. But instead, right before she got gagged, because now Deore has been gagged. So now her and her husband are both gagged, and he can't talk about the fact that he's an innocent black man that's been railroaded into 3 different domestic violence DV charges. And they actually tried to get him for human teleporting his own wife. They had a whole recording with someone that wasn't even Deore saying, please don't grade me. Please don't grade me. Please. It wasn't even her. They tried to get a woman that she first went to for grief counseling, who ended up just staying on as a counselor, life work balance and all of that, because, the therapy became very, very therapeutic for her, as therapy usually is. And they tried to get her to turn and turn on Deore, right? And say that she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs so that they could easily Baker Act her and then Marchman Act her, which they ended up doing anyway. I mean, they had tried on several occasions, but they just didn't stop. Even got Natalie Love to go to her therapist and to try to convince her therapist to go along with their nasty little plan, all because she didn't want her daughter with that black boy from not such a good neighborhood, even though he ended up going to college, graduating, a degree in business, I believe, owns his own landscaping business. They own it together. He played football, D1. He just didn't want to go into the NFL because he didn't want to be owned by any corporation that might try to do him harm or keep him away from his family. He likes being close to his family. Interesting. They didn't want to get down with the Rock Nation plan, so that was enough to make Desiree, I wish I was Griselda, you know, Miss, I sleep with cartel people and they all of a sudden they all end up in jail for life. I have babies with cartel leaders, and all of a sudden, my baby's daddy ends up in jail for life. I'm just this is CEO of Rock Nation we're talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's doing this to a black man. You want to know where else she was when a black man was being persecuted in the courts? She was standing right next to Megan Pete every day. She was there every day, very involved. And we all know that she has a very good relationship with the federal government. She's done a lot of work. Hmm. I tell you one thing. Um, Ramir's paternity suit and Demore's lawsuit, which is very real. I have all of the body cam where the police actually called Desiree Perez a liar for calling in a fake abduction call just so that they would come and arrest an innocent black man who loves her daughter.
Yeah, no, Nicki Minaj just came out a couple days ago, said that Desiree
Yeah.
Perez was behind swatting her.
Yeah, she shared my video and then they shut her down on social media too. So wouldn't nobody go see mine? I mean, Tasha K did do an interview with her finally, right before she got gagged, where she tried to convince her that she was tripping and maybe she was paranoid, and looked at none of the evidence that we have displayed in our brilliant expose.
Mm.
Isn't that interesting?
So can we ask you, how did you and Demore, how did y'all link up? Like, can you explain how that came together?
She reached out to me.
What was y'all's first conversation like, just in general?
She saw my AI breakdown video because the video that her mother, Desiree Perez, was passing around for real, where they had it staged to make it look like Javon had DV'd her, which turned out it wasn't that. Actually, it was the other way around. She was trying to beat the crap out of him with a Swiffer. He wanted to leave because he wasn't feeling well, and she wasn't feeling well, and they were having a bad day, and she got it convinced in her mind that he was going off to cheat on her. So she was beating him with the Swiffer, and he had to grab it and put it away and move her out of the way so he could get out the house. She's a very fiery, passionate, half Puerto Rican and half Cuban woman. Bless her heart. All of us women have been there. But for them to take that moment and then T-Pain chop and screw and remix that video to make that innocent black man look like he DVs women was pretty low and pretty disgusting. It was a hack job. I was able to pull every last one of the things. But then again, I have a lot of practice because of all of the AI videos that have been done to me, like the one Storm Monroe did last year, trying to make it sound like I said Sean Carter did something to me that he didn't do. So Sean Carter would have a reason to sue me. Hmm. Funny because Storm Monroe just recently came back and said he had his own Rock Nation story. Of course, not something that Deore or Javon would be able to refute because they both have gag orders now. How convenient that he waited until they couldn't speak and said that he was a lying sack of shit. But then again, he did have a vested interest because after I did that AI breakdown video, I asked him to produce the metadata for the video he AI'd of me here on YouTube. Want to know what's even sadder than that? 3 weeks later, another content creator tried to push that same video through. Guess what? It looked a little better than the first one. They cleaned it up. Can you imagine? You get caught and you get busted passing out and disseminating false information on another human being so that you can have an excuse to cover up the fact that you're an insane narcissist who was willing to put your daughter in a mental hospital because you didn't want her with a black man who loves her and who's been with her for 16 years. Somebody who went on family vacation, someone who Desiree herself brought dolphin tickets for. You should see the hack job she really tried to do on their relationship. Sitting there going to Javon, telling him what a girlfriend Deore was, and then she'd go to Deore and tell him what a boyfriend he was, hoping to turn the two of them together like a real witch. Because that's what witches do. That's witchcraft. Creating a bunch of constant confusion until people can't trust what's in their own mind anymore, hoping that your money and your ties and your connections will convince them to see it your way. I would have rather had mommy dearest than have her. I'd have rather catch the wire hanger than the that she's forced these two people to go through. And salute to Tawana Houston, Javon Hadley's mother, who raised him up after his father was taken from them when he was 9 months old. He was like a one or two, something like that. Like I think that's part of the reason why him and Deore have such a close, because they both experienced great abandonment as little babies. Javon's father was taken from him in an act of violence, when he was a little boy and his mom was forced to raise her family up on her own, and she's done a very excellent job. Deore was forced to go live with her grandfather, who she called dad and called his woman in life partner, mama. I mean, because her mother decided that she wanted to go play cartel and robbers, and she got popped, so she dropped her 9-month-old baby off, and then she didn't show back up until the girl was 14 years old after she became the co-owner of Rock Nation, so that she could bring her into the fold and woo her with all of her success. Like you dropped your baby off because you wanted to be, you want to be a thug. You wanted to be the Timu version of Griselda Marcos. Ain't that her name, Griselda Marcos?
Mm.
Yeah, that's who Desiree is. She the Timu, Griselda. When you torture your child, you use your Rock Nation hack team that Bobby Schmurda was talking about to clone your child's phone since 2016. She's had access to everything that her and Javon have talked about. She was able, had the ability to erase messages, put messages in, send text messages on her behalf. Hired a surveillance team to follow Javon around since 2019, trying to find a way to put a case on him. And when they couldn't do that, she just started making things happen. What's sad is that she actually had the ability, her and Quinn Emanuel and Alex Spiro. Were able
Wow.
to convince HSI to come and interview your daughter while she was in a mental hospital. And you used evidence from her social media that you grabbed from things that happened, a car accident, a cooking accident, and try to blame it on him. And she was able to go and debunk everything. Can you imagine?
Mm.
That's beyond relentless. You hate black men that much that you wanted to make a SCX teleporter out of him? If you were able to do that to your own son-in-law, I have no doubt you was able to do it to Tory Lanez. Easily. But y'all want to create little AI videos and tell people, hey, don't talk about that story. Oh, hitmen will come after you. Oh, don't talk about that story. Oh my God, Desiree Perez, she's so, oh my goodness, she was with the cartel, and oh my God, and if you do this, and oh, and then you got little Drizzle Monroe making his little videos talking about, oh yeah, because her lawyer wants all the content creators to do content. They want them to go to court and fight them for court. And I don't have enough money. And that's why I turned the story down. You're a lying piece of shit, you little. And I'm calling you that. I've been so good. I've been so good this whole time. But you, for you, I'm going to drop my standards. You little, you're a liar. Hilton Napoleon never asked any content creator to go to court and fight anything. Y'all are trying to scare people away from this girl's story because guess what? Everything in it sounds just like Rico to me. And some of those private investigators, I believe they come from the same company that allegedly some of those security people that was running around scaring that autistic victim. See, it's all the collusion. See, it's all the collusion. You want to know what else is interesting?
Mm.
The simple fact that TMZ actually had the audacity to call the district attorney's office in one of Javon's cases and demand to know when they were going to take him to trial. That case wasn't public knowledge. There was no public knowledge of any of this going on until Deore filed her case because her mother filed one first against her husband.
All right.
No one knew about it. Since when does TMZ just running around just looking for random cases to get involved with and asked to be in the courtroom? Sounds like intimidation to me. You, this is what you got going on. Because
What's up?
media. This isn't media. This isn't journalism. This is intimidation. This is corruption. And all of that lines right up with Rico. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find that thread that ties all of you together. I promise you that on my dead son. I promise you that on Giovanni Jackie Emmanuel Wright's whole life, here and now and forevermore. I promise you. I'm going to find the link. There will be a new song to sing. Rico Suave. Do you understand? Do all of you understand?
Something coming.
Sick and tired of y'all playing in people's faces. Most importantly, mine. And every last one of you coward content creators that will not cover a story as worthy as this one. A black man's life and his freedom being thrown out to the wind. To literally sit there and coddle the narcissistic ravings of a power freak who runs a label that is predominantly black.
What's on the fourth interview with you and Deore that hasn't been released yet? What's on that one? I'm just curious.
People need to go and just see the whole journey. But what I will say is it's not just going to live on YouTube. We have enough evidence and we have enough footage. And we're creating our own film event. We're going to take it offline, or at least off YouTube. And we're going to put it somewhere where the whole world can see it. See, that's what happens when you piss a like me off. Anything that I had worth losing, I already walked away from. What you willing to walk away from? You don't want to play chicken with a like me. Because see, once we finish it, the film version, with all of the everything in it, even special commentary that wasn't in the series that we've released here on YouTube so far, I promise you it's going to be hard for you to suppress those views. Checkmate. I ain't playing with you. And ain't nobody afraid of none of y'all. See, I walk with God and I walk with the angels. Everybody sat around sitting there. I ain't never seen somebody get convicted of two counts of the Mann Act, and everybody run around talking about they not guilty. No, he's not guilty of the RICO yet. They still got all of those pow pows and all of the rest of the footage. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. If enough concerned citizens make enough noise, I don't care what that Bondi down at the DOJ say to anybody named Comey in New York. They gonna have to move on it. See, I think American citizens have forgotten about how much power we actually have. If they don't get reelected, if the people that put them in office don't get reelected, then they got to walk away from those jobs. It's the problem with most Americans. They're too stupid to realize how much power they have being an American.
Can I take a quick sidebar on that real quick? I gotta get your take
Oh,
because Philly smells like right now. Everyone's on strike. They're not picking up no trash, and they feel like they are not getting paid. And even the mayor had to step in and speak on Philly and the sanitation workers. Give me just because that's home for you. Give me your take
sounds
real
like
quick.
France.
Sounds like France.
That's what they do in France. When they get pissed off and they don't get paid right and they don't get the things that they want, they let the trash stack all the way up to 4th floor walk-ups. They let the rats build little little jungle gyms and what are those things? The bouncy houses. Yeah, the rats do that. They do that in France. Yep. That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds just like France. I told y'all I left my home because it was breaking my heart and I knew it wasn't going to get any better and I wasn't going to stay there to watch it all fall apart. I just couldn't. Did I not?
Hmm.
Does it don't sound like it's gotten much better.
Yeah.
And maybe if they weren't so busy doing deals with Rock Nation, they would have more money to pay their sanitation people and they wouldn't feel the need to have to strike.
It's bigger than us.
You know? It may be. All that education money. I wonder exactly how much of that was actually used for education. I mean, we already know that the whole situation with Long Island University over there in Brooklyn and the School of Hove is a whole mess. They promised people they would graduate with no debt, and all of them got debt about as high as the trash in Philadelphia right now, you know?
Here, Jay, I'm gonna circle back to the trial real quick. You
Spin a
mentioned,
block.
yeah, let's spin the block. You mentioned Armand Wiggins. He got a lot of flack for pouring all that baby
I ain't got
oil.
nothing to say to that boy. He
Yeah,
got it. He look. He's got the right celebrity auntie. Lou Nell and him were the best of buddies, and I'm glad that she actually had the decency to let him know that um, it looked crazy. And I
it-
love the way he liked bragging about that on TMZ.
it-
I really don't. I think the issue that everyone really ought to have with Armand Wiggins is the fact that he was literally there to find a way to make his career. He wasn't there for journalism. He wasn't there for the victims. He wasn't really even there for Diddy. He was there to audition to be a part of the Illuminati. And his new little rock symbol Illuminati chain that he likes to wear around his neck so that he can adorn them over those fake male tits that he got that everyone made fun of because it turned out botched and he had to have them fixed. Like, I think people should be a little bit more concerned with the fact that he's a Luciferian devil loving Diddyite than the baby oil. I think that, you know.
it-
I mean, there's plenty of idiots that was running around talking about baby oil
yeah, it
in
seems
New
like
York.
they
Like
they they
this guy, this guy right here. This guy right here. See him? See him? With his
yeah,
little travel bottle of baby oil. Like these people think this is funny. These
yeah,
people think he got the travel bottle. Like he ain't the only one. I think the oil thing is enough to keep him from having to talk about whether or not he's getting ready for his next blood sacrifice ritual or whether or not he's about to get plowed by 15 guys so he can officially be a part of the boule. See, I'd rather have that conversation. Yeah. Who cares about baby oil? They didn't. No matter how many people it was put on, that put them down and put them out. They didn't
exactly.
care. Yeah, see, I'm more interested in that. I'm more interested in all of the people that were throwing up sixes, all of the people that were having their little Illuminati symbols on. There was a lot of that going on at that courthouse. Matter of fact, I saw that guy that they sent to accost me when I refused to talk to TMZ. The way my security detail had to literally spin that around because he refused to leave me alone. Like they were staging that at the courthouse just so that they could make the spectacle that we saw
Do,
happen.
do you agree with the family, Diddy's family, going there each time to just be part of that conversation? What
I
was
mean,
being
that's what
testimony?
Illuminati do. Ain't
Mm,
that what Rihanna did for ASAP Rocky when Tokapina got him off on a case that he surely should have went to jail for?
mm.
But then her daddy died and don't nobody actually know why. So,
Hey, hey,
I mean, one nigga to save another. I don't know.
hey.
I'll tell you what I do know. He ain't had no problem with dropping her off and letting her go up there to New York so she could be threatened to be thrown out of a window or collect a check. That I do know.
Hey.
God, God rest his soul. I mean, they seem to be handling it real well. He died and they're off in Paris having a ball.
Mm.
That's funny. As we speak, I have more people coming through on my channel talking about how they got kicked out of my channel, how they're being thrown out of my channel left and right. Wonder why.
Mm. Mm. Interesting.
Mhm.
Let me ask you, how quickly that verdict came in. Did it go quicker than you expected, or do you expect them to
No,
take
because they
longer?
were deliberating before they went in to deliberate. You heard what this guy is, this alternate, this Mr.
Yeah.
Bean, Dr. Ozish looking guy.
Mm.
He does. He looks like Dr. Oz's son. You know, it's just so odd because he was an alternate juror. I don't even believe he was in the room, but yet he said that they were talking about it before deliberations, and all of the jurors were given specific instructions not to be talking about any of this. But then again, when you refuse to sequester the jury and you have a bunch of, weirdo YouTubers that are sleeping on street corners, hoping that people will send them donations so they can go and stay at a hostel because they couldn't afford $750 a night. They definitely couldn't afford the suite that I stayed in while I was there. That was $1,500 a night. Um, I just find it interesting that nobody thought that all of those little weirdo YouTubers weren't getting on trains and following some of those jurors home, allegedly.
Yeah.
I got three names. I wonder when I'm going to tell people and who I'm going to tell. Ooh.
Mm.
Ooh.
You could tell us, Jack.
Oh no, I wouldn't dare do that to your channel. The one thing I don't want to do is piss the feds off so much that they feel as though they need to come and talk to me and tell me that I'm not allowed to be online no more. We gonna play fair.
Let's play fair. And I know you spoke on Pierce Morgan. And we got to go back to it. Vlad was on Pierce Morgan with Tony Busby, and they
You
were
know who
speaking.
else was recently on Pierce Morgan too? Ariel Mitchell.
Mhm. Come on, come on.
You still you still platforming her, huh? Pierce, you want to sit up there and you want to go back and forth with her about Diddy, but you don't want to ask her about why she put me in a lawsuit, named me as a Diddy employee of the criminal enterprise that now people are saying doesn't exist, and you had me doing all kinds of crazy things that it was earlier reported that Christina Coram did when I was in jail in Chicago. I'm just trying to figure out. You want to press people. You want to press Superhead. I tell you one thing that I do know. Corinne Stephens knows how to get paid. God bless her. Or should I say, Elizabeth Olsen?
Mm.
I mean, that's what she prefers to be called now. Bet you she'll have just as nice a car as Gina Hunt real soon if she don't have it already. But I just find it interesting that You want to run down on Ariel Mitchell kid about how fallible she is and everything. Why didn't you? I'm sorry, not kid because she dropped the kid. You don't want to ask her about why she put my name in a lawsuit with a, a a real Diddy victim that you're representing, that you've done nothing with that case for. She wasn't on that stand. She wasn't on that stand, but you made sure she was in that documentary. But she wasn't on that stand. But you wanted to take Diddy down. But you got a real victim who was essayed with a remote control, and you were so pissed off that I made you look like an idiot, and that I took down your whole team, your whole team of your band of merry weirdo client, Courtney Burgess. That idiot actually sat there on Sean Atwood's platform and had the audacity to say that he saw me in the Diddy tapes that he had essaying my deceased son. Where's the tapes? Because she surely got on News Nation and said, before she got on Piers Morgan, pretending to be an ally, hoping that I would want to retain her so you could do a bang up job on my life like you done on Ashley Parham's. I think no, I think not. You that's who Pierce got over there. Yeah,
Courtney.
yeah, and Vladimir Lyuski sitting there going back and forth with Tony Busby. I saw it. And guess what? For whatever reason, anybody that has anything credible to say about any of these very, very, very real terrible things, Vladimir Lyuski, he can only seem to get, you're not credible. You're not credible. You're not credible. He was able to look at the camera less talking to Tony Busby than he was when he was talking to me. Starting to look like you're allergic to talking to the truth. Vladimir. I just can't wait to see when this mixtape that you DJing with Lord Jamar. I can't wait to see the apology to Farrakhan. I can't wait to hear it.
We gonna see. Courtney Burgess, man, he had a course called Diddy, Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
He's the devil.
Yeah, and he said that the Jigga Man and the Carters were wonderful people. Mhm.
It's a little, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it really worked really nice. I mean, they did such a good job tainting this jury pool here on YouTube with characters like Courtney Burgess, with characters like Lamisha Fuller, who's still operating her YouTube channel now, even though she was recently, not long ago, arrested allegedly for had her ass right back down there loose stare. I guess somebody from Yellow Beezy's crack house allegedly bailed her out so she could get back online and talk stupid. Ain't nobody heard from Adria English either. The woman who was running around calling herself She Diddy. Ain't nobody heard from Jamil T. Smallwood or whatever it was. Chris Todd. These were all Ariel's clients.
mm,
And they sat on Liar B's channel, Sean Atwood's channel, News Nation, Piers Morgan. Like all of these people did all of these interviews. We're talking at least 25 million views. All of those liars got. You telling me none of that got to any of those jurors? They made such a mockery of this case before it went to jury selection. And then they made a mockery of it. Wow. They were on trial. Like, are y'all not seeing how this works? Because I could have swore to God when I sat with Piers Morgan, I said it's gonna be little fires everywhere. And they've been working nonstop since I said that. Funny because they tried to find a way to attach them all to me, to discredit me in some way. And all I did was pull their card. Then they tried to keep me busy with the death of Angie Stone, which is funny because they made a mockery of that woman's death and everything that happened to her. And there really should be a real investigation on it, but unfortunately, it's only good enough to be YouTube content, right? So that they can keep sitting there distracting people and distracting people and distracting people away from the truth, hoping that the authorities won't be interested in prosecuting it, kind of like they did with the Shanquella Robinson case. Funny, now that there's an update, that man in makeup, who I do not believe was a real transgender anything, who snapped that poor child's neck, is now calling it self-defense. You know, it's funny. It seems like every case that YouTubers get involved with either gets someone trumped up on charges that aren't real or gets somebody off whose charges are. It's a whole lot of corruption. That's a whole lot of public corruption.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Stars, nigga. Move. Hey.